But after some volunteer tutoring, she found language teaching to be so amazingly creative that she went back to school and switched careers. And her inspirational quotation is, "In teaching, it is the method and not the content that is the message. The drawing out, not the pumping in." And that's by Ashley Montague. Please welcome Renee to the stage.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. I am an English language teacher. What keeps me up at night is trying to design the perfect lesson. I'm going to try to draw parallels between the elements of visual design and the elements of lesson design. The first elements I want to talk about are color and light. They bring to mind the environment, the classroom environment, the learning atmosphere. I teach in 100% English. I throw my students into the sea of English, and they have to trust me that I'm going to give them something to grab onto. It has to be an atmosphere, an environment, total trust, support, and encouragement. I want the students, especially adult students, to feel comfortable enough to shout out an opinion, a comment, even if they think their English is babyish or very, very simplified. The next concept, or the next element of designs, are line and form. In this picture, the wind is pushing the grass stem across the snow and making lines and forms. For me, it's the goal of the lesson. The goal of the lesson directs me. It pushes me. I'm pushing towards that goal throughout the whole lesson. Another form to think about is background knowledge. What does the student already know about the subject? What do you know about Inuit kayaks? If you know something already, you can activate that learning, and you can grab onto it faster and learn more quickly. I take my activities and I put them in a line, from structured to more free, step by step. It's challenging, but not intimidating. That is one of the lines or forms that passes within the lesson plan. Students are challenged, but not scared to take chance. The moonbeam, bad pun, and the barn are very different. Sometimes my activities are very different. I need to find a connection between them using segues, introductions, and closure, so that my lesson has a flow from beginning to end. Balance. The pine needles drop to form the image of a canoe or kayak. I have to think about balance, like a kayak. In my activities, I want to make sure some are active and some are passive. Some are for individuals, some are for groups, that there is give and take. When I present, I have to think about how to take the concept to be taught, the concept to be presented, and break it down and simplify it to the simplest shape possible. That's the first step. This might be a concept, a grammatical idea, a vocabulary, anything. Then I surround it by examples, models, demos that flesh out the presentation so the students have a more complete understanding of what I am trying to present to them. Texture, for me, means awareness and adaptability. I want to be aware of what students know and are they understanding me. I want to use eye contact and ask them comprehension questions, but never ask, do you understand? Because they always answer, yes. That's correct. I have to be aware of occasional mistakes and repeated errors, but also, are they bothering the flow of communication? Is the water drop bothering the leaf? I have to decide which things to correct and which to let slide. If I decide to focus on an area of confusion, or an error, I'm going to use language. The Swiss chart reminds me of tongues, so that's my language connection. I want to simplify, to paraphrase, to add extra explanation in order to adapt to their not understanding. The final bit of texture is being aware of different kinds of learners. We're all different, and I want to make sure that my activities cover that span. I want to have musical activities, logical, visual, interpersonal, intrapersonal. Space and perspective brings to mind personalization. I ask a lot of you and your questions to bring you into the learning. What's your favorite ice cream? What's your hometown? Did you go shopping on Black Friday? It brings students in so it's not just their head, but it's their heart that's into the lesson. Jose is small, but he's got big goals. The other personal thing is, what are the students' goals? Do they need English for work or for fun? For travel, for research? What is their purpose? That also drives the design of the lesson. Okay, surprise is not a visual element, but when scale and hierarchy are off, there's an element of surprise. The teacher can give some surprise to help the students focus. I can use my body, I can use my voice, but somehow I want to grab their attention to bring them in so that they are learning from the first moment. The students can also surprise me. I might say, let's brainstorm things to eat. And they say baby camel and horse. Well, that's going to surprise me, but I have to accept and be aware and then adapt to those answers. This is a lovely still life created by my cat under our sofa. It reminds me that students create language. They are the creators when they give their opinions and comments. They tell their stories, their hopes and dreams. I don't own the language. Everyone who uses the language uses it in very creative and surprising ways. Finally, the perfect lesson design. Perfect lesson is never perfect. It's always growing and changing. It's what I plan, but also how I react in the living classroom. Thank you.
But I'm all of a sudden very, very hungry. Those images look great. And, well, we'll continue on with some more